attended by 4 Examination Council of Zambia officials in the presence of 2 Zambia police officers. Upon comparing the secreted material with that in the ECZ storage, it was confirmed that indeed the 2018 Mathematics Paper 2 examination was leaked and secreted on online media. This statement that I'm giving covers findings of the investigations that were carried out from 23rd October 2018, because as you are aware, we postponed the examinations on the 23rd of October, and during that same media press briefing we had, we also cancelled the Mathematics Paper 2. So it is in that context. So ladies and gentlemen, the investigation has revealed the following. 1. 248 schools administered the examination paper due to communication challenges, because some of them they are in far-reaching places and it's very hard, and in some of those places there are no mobile networks. Number 2, 77 examination centers tampered with the envelopes of the 2018 Mathematics Paper 2, and some of them attempted to steal the envelopes. Some of them attempted to seal the envelopes with super glue or other adhesive materials. The highest numbers are in Central, Southern, Western, and part of Copperbelt Province. Number 3, there is an observation that the mushrooming tuition centers in most parts of the country have caused more harm than good, as they are a conduit to leakages and examination malpractices. Number 4, 6 2018 grade 9 examination papers were tampered with in the districts and schools. These shall be replaced. Ladies and gentlemen, as a consequence to the observation listed above, the Minister of General Education has made the following decisions. 1. Replace all the 6 2018 grade 9 examination papers with new ones. Number 2. Resume the conduct of all examinations effective 31st October 2018. In this vein, the examinations will run as follows. 1. Grade 7 composite examination. It will commence on 5th November 2018 and end on 9th November 2018. The grade 9 examination will commence on 2nd November 2018 and end on 26th November 2018. Grade 12 examination, they will commence on 31st October 2018 and end on 30th November 2018. This timetable has been prepared to allow for replacement of the tampered examination materials. 3. Disciplinary action would be taken on all the officers that will be found wanting. 4. The Minister of General Education will collaborate with all line ministries, security wings and community to ensure the safe custody of and successful conduct of examination materials. So with that said, I want to invite the Minister of Home Affairs just to emphasize maybe on point number 3 in terms of disciplinary action will be taken on all erring officers from the Minister of Home Affairs point of view. I call upon Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Honorable Minister, and I'll simply add on your protocols as you get them. And everyone who has made time to be at the Ministry for this very important briefing coming from the Minister of Education. Yes, indeed, we as Minister of Home Affairs, working with the Minister of General Education, we will be part and parcel of ensuring that the processes of conducting examinations at various levels are done without any compromise. And to this goal, we are requesting all the PEOs to ensure they collaborate with our Provincial Joint Operations Committee, PJOCs, as they are distributing the examination materials, and where need to be request for security backup where they think there could be vulnerable situations. We have taken note of administrative measures that the Ministry of Education will take against the erring officers who have been caught up in these activities. On our part, we'll go further to ensure that charges are slapped on erring officers depending on the circumstances, which will culminate into these erring officers being prosecuted in addition to the administration measures that will be taken by the Minister of General Education. So basically, like I stated yesterday, the issues we are dealing with have got an impact on the future of this country. We are talking of the generations that will be taking up the positions that we have. And so if we disturb this generation in the manner we are seeing, we are all going to be judged harshly. And so we've got a responsibility to ensure that our future generations are prepared in a normal and progressive way. And so that's about education, primary and assessments in form of examinations as they progress into other stages of education system. So Minister, we are with you, and just to assure you that you will have our support from the Minister of Home Affairs through the Zambia Police Service in ensuring that those who are given the responsibility, and in this case especially the educators, do their job. We are not going to allow people expose their laziness in terms of doing what they're supposed to do by picking on easiest options, because a teacher, an educator who fails to do his part and thinks they can use the easiest route of leaking exams to the children is just as dangerous as those that are doing the same in the similar chain, but worse for them. So, Minister, we shall work with you and ensure that the due process of the law through the justice system is followed to the letter. Thank you very much.
With that said, Minister, thank you so much. Colleagues from the media, in case you've got any questions, clarifications, the Minister and my colleagues, we can take your clarifications and comments. Where's Madam Unondo? Take the floor now.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Thank you, Minister. You are invited to ask your questions, to get clarifications. Please tell us your name and where you're coming from before you ask the questions that you have. You can take 3 questions at a time. Yes, sir?
My name is Murumbo from Millennium Radio. You made request that the mushrooming institution centers are colleagues of these leakages. What is the way forward from the position of the ministry?
Thank you. Do you have another question? Is another hand? Yes? Mom? Yes?
My name is Mwenya from Live Radio.
We can't get you. Please stand up.
My name is Mwenya from Live Radio. You mentioned about the disciplinary measures that are going to be taken. I just wanted to find out if you have the number of officers that have been wanted that took offense to the leaking of these examination papers.
Thank you for that question. Yes, sir?
Joseph Damari from CBC TV. More of clarity. Moving forward, what security measures are you putting in place to ensure that such kind of scourge does not occur again?
Can you take some more questions, Honorable Minister?
Yeah, maybe we take this. A very good question. On the tuition center, if you know on the tuition centers, I remember then in 2014, then the Minister of Education, Dr. Mpiri, issued a statement where tuitions were banned in our mainstream education system. But then clever what people have done is that they have gone to establish education centers, tuition centers, and they have proceeded to register with PACRA, which means that as far as the law of Zambia is concerned, those are recognized business entities. But the question is that we in the midst of general education, we are not involved in the regressions of those tuition centers, and that is one of the weaknesses which we want to work on. And I think it is happening at the right time, because for now we are reviewing or amending the Education Act for 2011, and as a consequence of what has happened in terms of what we have seen, we will bring them on board so that they are given a regulatory provision, so that as we go forward, these tuition centers, people will not just go around and establish a tuition center which we don't know. We don't even know what it is doing. In terms of question number 2, numbers of officers who are involved. For now, I would safely say that we don't know the numbers of officers who are involved, but if you heard what I said in the statement that I've issued, what we know is that 77 examination centers tampered with the envelopes of the 2018 mathematics paper 2. So what is going to happen beyond this is now we will zero on these 77 to establish the number of officers who were manning these 77 centers. So for now that information is not available, but what is available is the 77 examination centers who tampered with examination materials. In 3, and I'll ask the Minister of Home Affairs also to come on this one in terms of security measures. Although sometimes when you put security measures, it's not really appropriate to share it. But what I would say, like the Minister, if you heard what he said, the Minister of Home Affairs, one of the issues, he has requested our provincial education officers to work with our security teams in the provinces as part of strengthening our guidelines on the management and administration of these examinations. So you find that this time around, because we have established that the people where we have deposited our trust and faith in managing the examinations, they are betraying the Zambian people. Therefore, what we need to do as a country is to ensure that we work with the Minister of Home Affairs to ensure that additional security arrangements are done in as far as the policing of these strong rooms are concerned. But I can invite you, maybe Minister, just to...
Thank you. I think you have more or less said it all, Honorable Minister, except to say that, and I want to seize this opportunity to just commend and appreciate the work that Examination Council of Zambia has done so far and the improvements that they've recorded. And we would be part of the team to ensure that what they have achieved thus far is not eroded by these criminal elements who are doing things for selfish interests. That we are not going to tolerate. And so, in addition to the request we made of provincial education officers working with our provincial security teams at the provincial level, we also want to make sure that the Examination Council also works with our police command in terms of enhancing our security system so that we can monitor through from the dispatch point up to the last point in terms of the schools where these materials have to go. And similarly, when the exams are conducted, how the papers are transported to the marking centers, and ensure also they are transported in a more secure way without anything being tampered with. So we want to be part of the processes just to be sure and avoid giving chance to these who want to subtract from what has been achieved in terms of our education system. So when we say we are going to be involved, we want to make sure that even when the seals are being dropped, our officers are able to see exactly how a sealed package is delivered to the school, so that if there is any need, a need arise, they are able to come and, because it forms part of the investigations, to say yes, this is how the seal is supposed to be, this one is tampered with, and then you zero in to look for culprits who could have tampered with the sealed packages containing examination materials.
Thank you, Honorable Minister of Education and Minister of Home Affairs. I can see we have some more questions for the ministers. I'll take another set of questions. Yes, sir.
Alfonso is my name from the newspapers. Mine goes to the Honorable Minister of Education concerning just a clarification concerning how many schools of the 77 centers are from public and those from private.
Thank you.
Second.
Any other question?
My name is Alfred Mansa from Diamond TV. Minister, the Minister of General Education, the other ministers who have manned this ministry have failed to control exam leakages. With the coming of social media, how confident are you that this scourge is going to be controlled in the long run? Because I can easily screenshot a paper and just send it to the next person and it circulates. So are you able to control exam leakages vis-a-vis social media?
Okay, thank you. The third question, yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to get a clarification on what happened to the 228 schools, the water sector,
Okay. The third question is what will happen with the 248?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. In terms of our analysis, I wouldn't say there are so many private schools. From the names of these schools, from what I've checked, maybe they are just, I've only seen about 2 which looks to be private schools. But the largest component of them are public schools. Social media vis-a-vis managing examination malpractices. Examination malpractices, I can tell you, can be managed. Why can they be managed? Because I think, like you have said, historically, what we have not been able to invest in as a country is to establish the level of infiltration. And I'm sure what we did, I think, when I was postponing the examinations on the 23rd of October, there were 2 schools of thought. There were groups which were for, others were against. But today, I can proudly tell the Zambian people that what I did on the 23rd of October, it is something that I'll never regret, even for my colleagues, I think, in cabinet, because now what it has indicated is that we know exactly where the failures along the management chain has been. And if we can zero on those failures along the management chain, I can assure you, even in the advent of social media, we can prevent. Because if I have trusted you and I give you the keys to say I've got checks in here, and you are the same person who goes to open, where those checks are, what do I need to do? I need to work on your behavioral psychological. So what we need to do is to work on the behavior of those colleagues we have requested to manage and administer examinations on behalf of the 5 million children of the Republic of Zambia. And I can assure you, as long as we are here by next year, with my colleague here, the examination for 2019 will be written in a different total environment. And I'm going to prove a point that, yes, we've talked about this historically, but time has come now, like the Honorable Minister has stated, to take on those people who are the culprits. And we are going to set an example for the 2018 of telling people that, look, we deposited our faith in you, but on behalf of the Zambian people, you have betrayed them, and therefore, you are not worth being part of us. So that example is going to be given. And like the Minister of Home Affairs said, in addition, that does not stop the Minister of Home Affairs to proceed with enforcing the justice system of this country in terms of prosecuting those individuals. So my dear colleagues, yes, social media has come, but social media is a platform that is all over there in the world. It is up to us as Zambians to agree to what extent can we use this social media so that it is productive. But having said that, I would also allow the Minister of Home Affairs, is the chairperson on some of these legislative committees, also just to say 1 or 2 things as far as social media is concerned and vis-a-vis examination malpractice.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. Yes, indeed. I think I can only safely say that days are numbered for those that think they will hide behind social media and do all sorts of illegalities. You were talking about someone taking a screenshot. The phone has got its identities and the numbers. And therefore, when you get the screenshot and distribute, we shall find the source from where that screenshot would be coming from. Even those that have posted. Mind you, we have made so much strides in zeroing in, even those that are trying to destabilize this country using social media. We are making a lot of progress in terms of identifying culprits, and you have seen the Minister of Communication and Transport coming up with pieces of legislation to manage the communication industry, which includes the social media platforms. Because if we don't manage the potential to even destabilize the nation and even put this nation on fire. So we have got a responsibility from the security perspective to ensure that these platforms, which are meant for communication, easy communicating of people, are not abused. And when we say even those that could have posted will be found, we mean that. So you are not any safer by taking a screenshot and post on social media platform and think you'll get away with it. We'll track you down. And I think the Honorable Minister, it's the same thing. We may not need to go into details, but simply to say that there will be no place to hide for wrongdoers, including not even social media. It will be used to do things that for people that think they can hide. So for you, our colleagues in the media, we have always said, please, and the Minister was making an emphasis that you capture information and disseminate it as it is given. It's very important because you are part and parcel, you are serious stakeholders. And so you should also make sure that you don't misuse these platforms, social media, which is availed to you for your work, because you will soon find that we don't want to find you as being culprits of those that we shall be pursuing for abusing social media. Thank you very much, Minister.
Thank you. On the other question of the 248, I said these 248 schools administered the examinations genuinely. However, at the time they were administering that examination very genuinely, that examinations had been cancelled. And therefore, the position of the ministry remains that even for the 248 schools that had administered that examination is now void, and therefore the children in those 248 schools would be required to write another mathematics paper 2, like everybody would be writing, those who did not take the exam on the 23rd of October.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister.
Can say hand there, maybe the last one. Do we have the last set of hands? Yeah.
My name is Angela from Christian Road. I think I remember being in high school and having to hear that ECZ has maybe 3 or 2 separate papers that they prepare in case one is leaked. Has that changed, or does ECZ now just have one paper instead of having 2 other backups, instead of having to postpone an entire exam and bring in the other paper so that, you know, students write a different paper in the morning while they were studying a linked paper. So, yeah, maybe we can get clarity on what's happening to the ECZ now.
Okay. So, second question? Also hand, yes?
My name is Julia Malunga from United West Radio. Going out to you, Mr. Mavumba, I wanted to ask, are you only investigating the teachers? What about the Examination Council of Zambia? Don't you think there can be a loophole there? And Mr. Kampion, how many officers are you going to deploy across the country, and is there enough manpower?
Thank you for that question.
Last one.
We have another.
There's a hand
Last
there.
one. Thank you.
Just from the errata from what you responded to Honorable Minister of Home Affairs, the aspect of posting the paper on social media, wasn't that an act of responsibility on the part of the media outlet, because it contributed in perpetrating the criminal elements of what transpired?
Okay, we end up with those 3 questions. So I'll ask the Honorable Minister of Home Affairs maybe to tackle the last one, posting of the paper on online media platform. Minister.
Thank you so much. First of all, I'll start with the question posed by the young lady there regarding, we are not saying deployment. We still have got trust that some of the, because if you look at the number the minister gave of 77 out of more than the 3,000, it shows you that it's just a fraction of, very few people and selfish individuals that don't mean well to the education system. So we are not going to deploy police officers. It's not like we are going to have police officers manning the examination centers. No. We still have got faith in our gallant men and women in the teaching fraternity who are capable of discharging their work. I mean, we have all come through these systems, and so we still have faith that there are still men and women out there who are capable of managing these examination processes. So we are not going to deploy at each examination center. What we are saying is the distribution chain. Because when things are distributed and we say, we have left this with you, and we trust that you do your best to safeguard the examination materials, the law enforcement will just be there to ensure that they've seen what has been distributed. In case there's something goes wrong, they'll be able to come and say, we witnessed that these packages were delivered in sealed form. So when we say collaborating, it doesn't mean we deploy police officers at each and every examination center. I just wanted to make that clarification. As for men, we have got enough manpower, although we need more numbers, but we have enough manpower to manage the work in supplementing what the Ministry of Education is doing. Interesting question from the gentleman, I don't know which media institution, who talked about the credibility of the media institution that participated in the circulating of leaked newspaper. First of all, apart from being morally bankrupt, you know, it's first of all, those that are behind such platforms, you should question their morals. What is it they're trying to do to the nation if they are told, if they are indeed Zambians? And I saw you exchanging notes with a veteran journalist who knows very well what it means. Because if a credible media institution was in receipt of such materials, certainly it wouldn't have ended up in the manner they did. They would have found the formal way of bringing this to the attention of the authorities. That's what a responsible media does. But those who are, and I'm telling you, days are numbered. You mark my words. We don't make pronouncements which go to the wind. For those kind of media institutions, and we respect freedom of the media institutions, because you are here to stay. And we need you, and those of us in government need you to disseminate information to the general public of what the government is doing and educating our people. But if you've got a media that is destructive, as the one that you are referring to, we shall find the way, because they want to continue hiding, because the law has got no limitation on how long they can stretch the arm of the law. It doesn't have limitations. So may I feel comfortable now and dodge around, but we shall round them up at some point, and their time of reckoning will be soon coming. So, in short, they are just a recipe for confusion, and they are morally bankrupt. It doesn't matter what they are.
Thank you, Minister. Director Chilala, 1 paper, 2 paper, 3 papers. What do you want to say?
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister of Home Affairs, and thank you so much, Honorable Minister of General Education. As Examinations Council of Zambia, we have enough examination materials in the exam bank. The fact that the examination was suspended, the conduct of the examination was suspended, does not mean we do not have backup materials. It is a procedure which was required to be followed so that even the other materials as they come to be implemented, they do not land in the same contaminated environment. So it's extremely important for people to know that as the Examinations Council of Zambia, we still stand by the international standards that are required in the conduct of examinations, which require that we should at any time be able to replace examination materials that are contaminated. And I think the Honorable Minister of General Education announced appropriately that the materials that were found to have been tampered will be replaced. They will be replaced because we already have the materials to replace them. I thank you, Honourables.
Thank you. And then the last one, whether the Examination Council of Zambia is a culprit or not a culprit. Yes.
Thank you, Honorable Minister of General Education and the Honorable Minister of Home Affairs. I think what is important for the nation to know is that the government is very committed and very dedicated to ensure that national examinations are conducted with minimum disruption. You may wish to note that some of the measures which have been undertaken this year have never been undertaken in the history of conducting examinations. And for that specific reason, these have been undertaken because His Excellency the President, Mr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu, did make a request and a directive that we get to the bottom of this issue. Now, the Minister of General Education, in response to that, issued instructions of which the results are able to demonstrate for themselves. And therefore, as a ministry, we are saying that wherever this malpractice exists, we shall get there and we shall make sure that appropriate and necessary actions and measures are undertaken. Therefore, if at the Examination Council of Zambia, they are found to have participated in the leakage of the materials, they will not be spared. Like we are saying for any other individual, citizen, institution, or organization. Honorable Minister, thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister of Home Affairs, my colleagues, the PS and the Director. This is
That's the last comment. Honorable Minister, my last one would just be to appeal for calm. Our learners, those must remain calm as your ministry is making efforts, and you have done well that now that the new calendar has been spelled out, the learners should just focus on preparing themselves for the examinations. For those ones who are trying to agitate for, the anxieties, who couldn't manage the anxieties, we want to appeal to them that these are our children. What is being done is in the best of their interests. The ministry takes care of their interests first. And so we don't want to see anyone inciting our children and our children falling prey to those undesirable elements and start jumping on the streets, because then you might miss the opportunity to sit for exams, because when you get in our hands, we shall keep you where we keep wrongdoers. So it's important that our children remain calm and focus on their examinations. Thank you so much, Honorable Minister.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister of Home Affairs. Thank you, my colleagues, the PS and your directors and the POs and our colleagues from the Examination Council of Zambia. And thank you, colleagues from the media. In summary, all I want to say is that the examinations were postponed to begin a journey of creating or restoring public confidence in our education system. Just like the PS has said, this has never happened in the history of this country. But because of the measure that we took, there are so many lessons that have been learned. And going forward, there are so many remedial measures that are going to take place in order to create public confidence in our examination system. Furthermore also, and I did indicate in Parliament without being ashamed, and I said under the able leadership of the President of this country, we will make sure that public confidence in our education system is created. And in creating that public confidence, this is why those administrative measures are going to be taken. Because the culprits will no longer hide, because they have been perpetuating this, and I will no longer accept as minister. Every time I'm given a statement from my colleague there, he says, Minister, we had 1%, we had 500 people. There is no way. Time has come, colleagues, working collectively together to find the lasting solutions on examination leakages. And Minister of Home Affairs, I'm very grateful, and we will look forward to working with your institutions all over this country to ensure that that public confidence which the people of Zambia deposited in the Republican president is restored. And that, colleagues, is going to be done. For my POs, I request you and your district education board secretaries through this platform is to ensure that you provide leadership. Don't work in isolation. The Minister of General Education cannot run examinations alone. No. We need to involve all the security wings that exist at provincial and the district and the zonal levels. And I'm sure when we do that, we are going to minimize many of the processes that have led to what we are discussing here today. For my colleagues from the media, like I said, all I am requesting you is to convey the information as it has been given. And what is important for the purpose of this press briefing is a timetable, which I want to repeat for your sake again. Number 1, Grade 7 composite examinations will run from 5th November 2018 to 9th November 2018. Grade 9 examinations will run from 2nd November 2018 to 26th November 2018. Grade 12 examinations will run from 31st October 2018 to 30th November 2018. The Grade 9 exam timetable takes into account the reprinting of the examination papers that have been leaked. So, Honorable Minister and Honorable colleagues and my friends here and the media, once again we want to thank you for finding time to be part of this journey, and I'm sure especially the media, in terms of your advocacy, if we work together, because like he usually says, examinations and the community, so it's a very important terminology, examination and the community. Examination malpractice happens in the community where we live. And all of us, if we worked together and stood firm with a unit of purpose, the perpetrators will bring them to book beginning this particular month. So with that said, I want to thank you, and just to encourage PS, do not shy away from ensuring that administrative action is taken on those who have perpetrated this particular phenomena of examination malpractice. So colleagues, once